a que suba para salir. Bueno, ok, chao entonces. Alright guys, so come on, I'll show you.
And feel this, it's huge.
Daniel, yo ya empecé porque era
This
muy
is
tarde.
so soft.
Entonces,
It's
¿ya
just a
está?
grass.
Entonces mándelos para acá. Listo,
But it's so soft.
listo, listo. Daniel. That jungle over there is extremely biodiverse. For example, a good forest in Eastern Europe will have between 50 to 80 species per hectare. That one has between 500 and 3,000 per hectare. Here, we don't have seasons. And underground, there is a bank of dormant seeds, all of them like sleeping, maintained by the network of fungi. And stay in line, like there. Okay, Maria, I don't see you, huh? Excellent. Geologically speaking, very young. So they didn't have the time of developing all the goodness of biomass there.
Jungle toilet paper.
And what is the neotropics? You know, tropical doesn't mean warm. Tropical means no season. And what is the main characteristic of the neotropics? Is that we have altitude. We have mountains up to 5,700 meters. Therefore, biologists distinguish between 5 thermic floors. And the leaf on a plant is like the solar panel of the plant. It's the producer of energy. As these are working constantly, it doesn't matter if there is a lichen or moss or a hole on it. And the look of the fruit of this plant is also ugly. Have you seen guanabana? Looks like a crocodile with a head. And chirimoya, granadilla, curuba, zapote, lulo. Most of our indigenous fruits are ugly looking fruits. They are not colorful and they are not attractive. So how come your fruits are so colorful and attractive and ours not? Any guesses? They want to be attractive.
They want to be eaten, so
because they want to be eaten quickly.
Yes.
quickly.
Because their seeds, they need to be underground before the next winter.
Yes.
So it's a question of
Distributed.
eat me now. And the rate of spreading is much more efficient just because we are not in a hurry, just because we don't have seasons. So the look of our indigenous fruits are telling you that we don't have seasons. Our fruits also require to be eaten, but not at the same time and in speed. That's the main difference. To understand this kind of jungle, you need to take on board two things. No seasons and altitude. people think they are recycling, but they are not recycling much. They are just separating waste that is being nicely compacted and then dumped in Africa or in Asia. In this country, on the mountains, there is loads of recycling. Remember, recycling is not about cleaning cities. Recycling is about putting back in the cycles of productivity of the place. It's very much the abstraction of a tree. So it allows on the story, and it fits under the canopy of the trees. So this shape adapts to the architecture of the jungle. Pentagons are flexible, and you're in a country where there are active volcanoes, earthquakes, landslides. So we need to have a shape that holds together, but has certain flexibility to it. This armadillo doesn't have memory, so they follow their own scent. So if you see a trace like this on the path, don't step on it, because then we don't want to trap it. Now the interesting thing about the guama tree is actually these deformities. They are called extra nectarines, and they provide food for the ants. The ants recognize the tree as home, and they defend it from the caterpillars of the butterflies. So this is the very first example of a successful interaction between a plant and an insect against a predator. You have been to Cocora Valley, so could you please show me any of the wax farms? There are roughly 70,000 baby wax farms. So how come you have so many children and no parents? Any guesses? So the crowns, so the top part of the wax pump that you have seen in Cocora is much bigger than that. And the crown, which is the whole set of leaves, will be 6 meters diameter. These are the conditions for the wax pumps.
What was missing to get, since you were here, they started, right? So what conditions were brought about to get them to start?
Because the jungle has reached equilibrium. No, this is a fantastic, this is as it should be. As it should be. And many of them will survive. No matter if you have shades, there won't be conditions for the wax pumps.
So the fungus and everything is not, it's also dead there. So there's nothing.
It's dead. Everything is dead because it was long time gone. Yeah, but remember the rest is a myth. It's just a myth. I started to do marketing in English. At that time, many foreigners would start looking for coming to Colombia, and they were browsing in English. So the only place it was Salento, and they came here to Salento thinking that it's wow, and it's not wow. It's just a normal town.
Use the stick and put the mold away.
Faster, faster. It's tipsy here.
It's okay, go.
Careful, Maria, please. Come all the way here.
Only one because they don't want you to jump on it.
Oh no, Eric would love to make someone suffer on it.
Very well.
Have you noticed how the jungle has been changing dramatically from one place to another?
Yeah.
Now, in your countries, winter is very important.
Yes.
Winter will kill certain bugs.
This is incredible.
Now the other thing is you haven't seen any solar panels. And I'll tell you something, solar panels are not sustainable here. Production of panels is very polluting, batteries extremely polluting, inefficient and expensive, and the whole thing will have a much higher carbon footprint. In this country, 70% of the electricity is produced by hydroelectric power. So it's more sustainable to be connected to a national grid. And I'm saying this is because sustainability is never a universal recipe. This construction is sunken in. During the night we close the shutters and there is little light or noise going out to the jungle. So this construction is invisible to the activity of the animals, and the animals do approach here by night. Now, in terms of materials, we left them very much raw. We are trying to copy the aesthetics of the jungle. We are trying to show that it doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. Guys, feel free to wander around the lodge. Our guests need to do certain sacrifices. They cannot come here if they're taking antibiotics. They cannot come here if they're taking antimalarial treatment. They cannot use the normal soap or shampoo. We give them a soap that is based on clay and saponin from plants, and it's protecting certain bacteria. Certain bacteria that I will explain to you soon. If you're taking antibiotics or antimalarial treatment, please don't go to the toilet. And we meet outside for carrying on with the tour. In the evening, it will drop a few degrees. You don't need this kind of glass windows is because you have seasons and this and that.
Yeah, we have all kinds of problems like that.
Sorry, Sylvia. That's it.
Thank you. I don't want to leave, it's so nice.
Being a grass is also a filter of water. So during the day it's sucking water, and during the night it's releasing it. So if you want it for construction, well, you want it without water. And as it has to do with water, it has to do with moon. So you harvest it between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. when the moon is waning. We're going to the bush to harvest these guys. We cut them, we leave them in the bush for a month for a process of self-immunization. Then we bring them, we scrape them, and we carry on construction. And you might wonder, how come we are cutting a plant in a natural reserve? This is one of the very few ecosystems on Earth in which humankind is part of the symbiosis. So if you don't cut it, it will flower when it's 80 years old and it will die. And at this altitude, it grows 10 centimeters per day. These thorns here, you see them?
Oh yes.
These will become a barbed wire like this one, and it can be 14 meters long. These two thorns will become roots like these ones, and the medium one will become a cane like this one. So when cutting it, we are actually encouraging its mechanism for invasion. It's called colonic system. And don't touch this,
Why?
because the hairs will be stuck in your skin. Don't touch this, Maria, Eric.
Don't you know we are
Don't touch
children? We are going to touch it. No? She took a picture of me. Let's see what Eric does.
Come, believers. A tomato.
No,
Could be. Oh, don't do this.
survive. You survive?
They are original from our jungles.
Yes, they are.
And this is a cherry tomato.
Ah, yes.
Yeah?
Very nice.
Pass it. That's monkey balls.
That's not something I like to smell.
So I traveled for 15 years, moving to different places, trying to learn how the people thought, and I would love African music. And at some point I had the chance of going to Burkina Faso for a workshop that didn't work. So I had lots of time to observe, and I was seeing all these people without food, shelter, hospitals, water, but they had certain dignity and certain happiness. So we started to think, perhaps happiness is a question of doing something meaningful. I came back to my country, and we were thinking with Nicolas, what would be meaningful in a country like Colombia? And we thought conservation. So we started this project with barely anything, and so far this is what we got. Dreams and to be happy. And guys, thank you very much for coming to KASAGUADUA.
You survived, Maria. You should get a golden picture now. Yeah, book of phrases. Are you surprised? What a surprise. Better than spider. I take it, don't worry. It's a stick bug. Don't worry.